Welcome! I'm back, and today I'm going to be tier ranking my ults, purely based on what my experience being a fan of them has been like. Just to preface, this is not a ranking of the artists, just purely my fan experience. But in order to tier rank, we need to have tiers, so let me introduce those. I'll go from the bottom up. So the bottom tier is literally traumatizing. This is for the fandom experience that have not been fun. Like, as much as I love all of these artists, the ones that end up here constantly make me question why I decided to even stand them in the first place. The next tier is low-key a fake fan. This tier is for the artists where I have to ask myself, have I even actually had a fandom experience? And when the answer comes out to be no, they end up here. Going up another tier, we have highest highs, lowest lows. And this one I feel is very self-explanatory. It's for the artists where I've had amazing moments as a fan, but also some of the worst. And up another, we have almost no complaints. These are from my fan experience that have been solid, and I have almost no complaints. The penultimate tier is very, very obsessed, very, very fun, which is from my experiences where I genuinely have no complaints. Like, I love being a fan of these artists and I wouldn't change anything. Okay, I probably would change some stuff because nothing is perfect, but still, being a fan of these guys is genuinely so much fun. And the top tier is simply BTS. And with that, I think we can start the video. So I'm going to start with the very obvious first placement, and that is going to be putting BTS in the BTS tier. The reason I put BTS in its own tier is because it doesn't feel fair to compare my experience as an ARMY to any other fandom experience I've ever had, even outside of K-pop. When I got into BTS, I got in deep. Like, I would keep up with every single piece of content released. I would read every article written. I only listened to BTS's music for like a solid 6 months. Like, I was extremely obsessed. And honestly, I don't want to sound cringy or anything, but some of my happiest memories have been during my time as an ARMY. Admittedly, I'm not as active in ARMY spaces as I used to be. However, that would be very difficult to still be as dedicated as I was 3 years ago. But out of all my ults, I still think I have the most fun operating in ARMY spaces. Like, I know the rep ARMY have online, but through some simple curation of my timelines, I have met some of the loveliest and funniest people on the internet, and I am so thankful to BTS that they have managed to foster a fandom that are so kind to each other, as well as just being the best group ever and making it genuinely so fun and easy to be a fan of them. So yeah, my time as an ARMY has been the best ever, and it really wouldn't be fair to compare it to any of the other fandoms I'm in. Next up is MCND. Now, this is a funny group for me because I really like them, from their music to the members, and I actually had a lot of difficulty trying to figure out where to put them because I've had almost no complaints during my time as a fan. However, I don't keep up with them super closely, so they could go in low-key a fake fan. However, I've decided on almost no complaints. I got into MCND early 2021 after the Crush music video was shown to me as an ad on YouTube, and since then I've been a really casual gem. I've listened to their entire discography and get really excited for new comebacks, even if there have been some pretty considerable time gaps between them. But yeah, I'm just a super chill fan of MCND, and I kind of do it by myself. Like, I don't interact with other gems pretty much ever, and I've had a really great time keeping up with them, and I really love their TikTok content. So yeah, almost no complaints being a fan of MCND. Lucy is an instant, very, very obsessed, very, very fun. Like MCND, I'm not super active in any WoW spaces, but that's just because I find it really difficult to find non-Korean WoW spaces to be active in. But whenever I do find a fellow Lucy fan out in the wild, I do go a little bit feral, so I'm sorry to all of the people I've been in the DMs of screaming about Lucy. But honestly, talking about these guys and their music is one of my favourite hobbies. Anyone I know in real life can testify to this. Whenever a comeback gets announced, I am literally buzzing for days, and when the release date of the album is approaching, you cannot shut me up. So in short, I love being a WoW because it's so easy to get excited for new music and performances from a group that in my opinion have the best, most flawless discography to walk the earth. So yeah, very, very fun to be a WoW. Would 100% recommend. For TXT, my initial thought was to put them in very, very obsessed, very, very fun. And they definitely would have been there if I made this video maybe a year ago. However, as it stands now, my obsession levels have really dropped, so I'm going to put them in almost no complaints. Now, I love TXT and I love Moaz. Both are so funny and both produce incredible content. TXT have great music and some of the best interview moments ever. And MOAs are some of the most talented editors. Like, come on, the amount of viral TXT edits speaks for itself. MOAs actually held my title for best fandom for quite a while. That was until the fan wars got a bit out of control. I still love all of you, don't worry. Honestly, being a fan of TXT has been so fun and easy, but I'm just not as into them as I used to be. And to be honest, I'm going to contribute most of that to my For You page deciding to stop showing me TXT videos, which I'm actually very annoyed about. I don't think I'll ever not be a MOA. I love the boys too much for that, but as of right now, I think my fan experience with TXT is going to be in almost no complaints. Aside from BTS, Astro is by far the easiest to place. They go straight in highest highs, lowest lows. Getting into Astro is the first time since getting into BTS that I had that super fun spiral where I just sat and watched loads of content. From Astro Plays to Dokas to those weird variety shows they do. The Parasite one is by far the best. If you haven't watched it, please do. So having that super rapid standing experience, getting to know all the Baby Aroa memes and things like that is definitely a really high. As well as all of the Aroas I've interacted with have been genuinely so sweet and lovely, and my fandom experience with Astro has been truly amazing. Excluding the really low, which I'm sure you can all guess what that is. Losing Bin ruined me. I didn't really talk about it anywhere at the time because it was a really weird experience. It was like, I never met him. I didn't even really know him. He was just a face on a screen that happened to make me smile a lot, and here I was crying, sobbing, grieving him. I've mostly come to terms with his passing now, and I hope that all of his family and friends can find peace with it, and most of all, I hope that he is resting well. I will always miss Ben, and his passing will always be the lowest point during my time as an Aroa, but that will never stop me from remembering the joy he and the rest of the members brought me, and the happy memories I've made with them, even if that's only through a screen. For Sungwon, I was again torn between almost no complaints and low-key a fake fan. And then I remembered all of the things that make me a fake fan aren't my fault, therefore he goes in almost no complaints. Now the reason some may consider me a fake Hanul is because I completely missed a comeback. Like, 2 months went by and I had no idea it came out. I was just sitting one day and realised it'd been a while since Sungwon released music, and I decided to check exactly how long it had been. And that's when I realised I missed a full-on album. The reason why this isn't my fault is that someone never actually posted about it, and he moved company, and no one told me about it, so I missed any company updates. So yeah, comeback went completely past me. I did listen to it as soon as I found out it existed, but yeah, not my best moment as a fan. But other than that whole fiasco, I love being a fan of Sungwon. I mean, I've never met another Hanul, but I love listening to his music in my own little bubble, which has been pretty small lately since he's currently in the military. But I'm excited for him to get out so I can enjoy more music and hopefully not miss any more comebacks. Where do I even start with Pentagon? I mean, they're an immediate, literally traumatizing, and if you take anything away from this video, let it be to never stan a Cube group. I guess I can start from the first big thing, and I wasn't a universe at the time, but it definitely still affects Pentagon to this day, and that is the Dawn situation. I mean, I don't like Dawn. I think the way he handled the situation was very selfish, but that in no way means Cube handled it well. Pentagon just released Shine, one of the biggest songs of 2018, and were probably set on a lovely upwards trajectory, but the whole Dawn situation really ruined that. The next thing is Yenin being on frequent hiatus. For context, I became a universe in early 2021, so Juno was at the military, Hui had just enlisted, and Yenin was off in China, and has been in China for the entire time I've been a fan, apart from the 2 weeks they were promoting Invite You. Because of this, Yenin does not feel like a member to me. He feels like more of a feature on some of their albums. And I don't know all of the details surrounding Yenin. I don't know if it's Cube pushing him out or him trying to distance himself, but either way, it's not a fun experience as a fan to have a member essentially show up for some promotions and then leave, never to be heard of again until the next comeback. And that leads us to our next problem. There never was a next comeback. Cube ran out of money and decided to abandon Pentagon while giving Idol 3 comebacks a year, which is where we get to the joke that Pentagon are a J-pop group, since their Japanese activities were handled by another company. Cube didn't even care enough to scrape together a tiny bit of money for a goodbye comeback. Another recent thing was the whole Hui Boys Planet fiasco. I mean, we now know that he was the one that wanted to do it, and he instantly regretted it. But man, that was stressful. And now, with the uncertainty as to whether or not they're still together, and Yuto blocking all of the members, being a universe is the most stressful experience I've had as a fan, and I really wish Pentagon didn't have one of my favourite discographies ever, and I wish I didn't love all of the members, because my time as a uni has been literally traumatising. BoyNextDoor is still a relatively new addition to my alts, but man, I love being a one door. So they're going right into very, very obsessed, very, very fun. I think getting into them has been super fun because I would say I've been a fan since pre-debut, which means I don't have a massive backload of content to get through. I just get to learn new things about the members or watch funny moments as they happen. I usually find it quite intimidating trying to get into groups that have been around for ages, but I just don't have that with BoyNextDoor. So my fan experience has been super relaxed and super fun. I also haven't mentioned it yet, but I'm also a collector. I collect albums and photo cards, and I'm currently trying to collect all of BoyNextDoor's albums as well as all of Jaehyun's album PCs. And again, since there's no backlog, it's been so fun and manageable to get on top of these collections. So it's made this part of my fan experience super fun and relaxed and a little bit obsessive. So Mamamoo have a very obvious place in low-key a fake fan. And yes, I'm aware how bad that is considering they're the only female artist here. Mamamoo were the first group I got into after BTS and are the only girl group I have actively engaged with. Like, there are lots more that I keep up with, but I've only properly stanned Mamamoo. Now, the reason why I'm low-key a fake fan is that I barely keep up with comebacks, never mind anything else the members get up to. Now, I wasn't always like this. I used to be really into them. However, after I listened to their entire discography, I think that's when I stopped trying as hard to keep up with them. Mamamoo are the epitome of a title track group, and almost all of their B-sides were pretty meh to me, so I stopped feeling the need to check out each comeback. I'd listen to the title track, and that was enough for me. I think this lack of excitement for new music just bled into a lack of excitement for everything they do. Now, I don't think I'll ever unstan Mamamoo. They hold too much sentimental value for me, and their title tracks are simply too good to allow me to do that. But I would definitely say I'm a bit of a fake fan at this point. I mean, they only just made it onto this top 10 list. And finally, we have Kim Woojin, and he is another shoo-in for literally traumatizing. I really like Woojin's voice and his music, and the fact that he did a concert in the UK that wasn't in London makes him a saint in my eyes. No, but seriously, I get that the circumstances he left Stray Kids under were definitely suspicious, but that does not mean all of the false accusations and threats that were sent towards him were justified. But yeah, I feel like it should be pretty obvious why being a fan of a guy who is literally the stand-in for the devil in one of the biggest fandoms does not lend itself well to a great fan experience. I barely advertise that I'm a cub, and if I find out you're a stay, I'm never going to tell you that. That is something I will take to the grave. It really sucks that I have to walk on eggshells around an entire fandom just because I like some dude's voice and I think that he releases fun and catchy music. And that's the end of this video. Here is the overall tier list. I'm pretty happy with how everything's placed. I wouldn't change anything. But big thank you to everyone that watched this video. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time.